Hello, my friends. So, I welcome all of you, almost 104,000 star seeds, light workers, and wanderers to this session. In today's session, I have channeled the Galactic Federation and I have received some incredible information which will not just help you to understand about certain aspects or the queries which were raised today, but also it will help you to awaken to a higher level of consciousness if you just take the time and apply what has been said in today's session. So I believe this is one of the vital transmissions for this year, and this will shift your consciousness to a higher level. And in this session, firstly, what they have shared is about something that is happening in our galaxy. Like there is a big event going on, a big galactic update is revealed in the session, and it seems that some massive shit is going down in our galaxy, and I think all of us need to be aware of this. So it has been revealed. And in second query is about what is the hidden truth of Yahweh. So this has been answered as well. And the third question is about what are the secrets of the pineal glands in terms of spiritual awakening. So I think you'll find it very useful to understand this as well. And finally, we have asked about a simple method that will assist us into becoming that unified with our true self. Okay, now this is absolutely amazing, and I hope you will learn a lot from the session. And with that being said, I want to say thank you to all of you for joining on the Patreon, where I share censored sessions and we do meditations, and we have other sessions as well which I cannot share on YouTube. So the link is on the description. And also I want to say thank you to all of you for liking this video, as it helps to reach out to other people who may need this information at this time. And now I hope you will enjoy the session, my friends.
We are the Galactic Federation, and today we create the human collective consciousness through this instrument, inner silence, which has opened up to receive this transmission at this time. We are here to offer our guidance. However, at all times, inner discernment is recommended and advised for the listeners to use with their vibratory sound complex reaches their mind complex. Therefore, firstly, we shall address and give a galactic update of the recent happenings in the galactic system of your planetary sphere. We, the Galactic Federation, had been monitoring the outer reaches of the Milky Way galaxy for the past timeline, continuously and in more rampant ways. And we picked up unusual readings coming from a nearby star system. Furthermore, this was from the Andromeda galactic system. Furthermore, as the signals approached the Milky Way galaxy, we encountered a massive fleet of ships that identified themselves as the so-called Lucifer Social Memory Complex. The Lucifer Social Memory Complex is a highly advanced race of fifth-dimensional entities that have evolved beyond physical existence and exist as a collective social memory complex and can use any objects to identify themselves as. These entities are known throughout the galaxies for their intense power and knowledge in terms of spreading fear and other types of vibrations, and many civilizations of the past space-time have fallen under their influences. We, the Galactic Federation, knew that at the time of encounter. However, these social memory complex of Lucifer had one disadvantage, and that is they were afraid of the power of love lights. Furthermore, the vibrations of love light we used as an energy the Lucifer social memory complex could not comprehend, and it was the only force that was able to resist their entry into the galactic system as our fleets. Classed with the social memory complex, we began to channel the vibrations of love lights through our connection to intelligent infinity, and we were able to transmit it through the ships that were generated from our thought forms and into the surrounding spaces. The energy created a vortex that started to pull in the social memory complex of Lucifer beings, and this raised on for hours. We on one side and the Lucifer social memory on the other side, having a distortion or a type of conflict. Furthermore, as the vortex grew stronger, more and more of the Lucifer social memory complexes were pulled into the embrace. Finally, as the last of the social memory complexes were drawn into the vortex, the entire fleet of social memory complex Lucifer beings were placed into a black hole, and we, the Galactic Federation, watched in awe as the Lucifer social memory complex disappeared from this Milky Way galaxy again. However, we know that the battle of light love is far from over. In another dimension, the Lucifer social memory complex has found a new home, and they are already preparing for the next attack on the Milky Way galaxy, as we can sense. But we, the Galactic Federation, are ready, and we know that we will be able to summon the power of love light to a higher degree in the future again. Therefore, we must state that the battle between the love light and the darkness in the galactic system rages on, but we, the Galactic Federation, are determined to protect the galaxy and all life in it. Furthermore, after sharing the update, we shall now address the second query, which relates with what is the hidden truth about Yahweh. We must state that before we answer this, there may be certain types of preconceived images and thought forms related with this aspect which must be let go of in order to truly understand our vibratory sound complex. The term known as Yahweh is referred to as the Creator in the so-called monotheistic religions known as Judaism and the people of your planet who follow the religions of Christianity and Islam, as known by your people, are also the experiencers of the concept of Yahweh, who is referred to as the God in these religious systems. Furthermore, we must state that according to the systems of belief found in your planetary sphere, Yahweh is considered as the creator of the universe and the source of all life forms. Furthermore, we find that the name Yahweh is derived from the Hebrew word for I am, and is often referred to as the Creator or the God in the language of your peoples. Furthermore, we must state that in the understanding of your own people's vibration, the term Yahweh refers to the aspect related with the I am presence of the one Creator, or the Yahweh's presence. Therefore, we must state that it is true that the one infinite Creator, or the divine essence which permeates all of creation, cannot be fully captured or defined by any human language terms or concepts. Therefore, the term Yahweh, as known by your people, is just one of the many names used by different cultures and traditions to refer to the transcendent and ineffable reality of the one infinite Creator. Furthermore, we must state that in many of your planetary systems, the so-called term of Yahweh can be replaced with other terms such as Adonai or Hashem or Messiah, which means that it is referring to the same one infinite Creator. However, because of the language system's difference, the terms have eluded the concept of the unity of the one Creator. Similarly, the other spiritual traditions of your people, the one infinite Creator is referred to as by different vibratory sound complexes such as Brahman in Hinduism, Allah in Islam, or the Tao in Taoism. We must state that these names and labels are concepts which offer a divine and a different perspective of the one infinite Creator. However, none of these concepts can fully define the one infinite nature of the divine consciousness. Ultimately, we must state that the true nature of the one infinite Creator is beyond words and concepts and can only be experienced directly through practices of spiritual awareness and inner realization. Furthermore, we must state that the name of Yahweh is but a pointing towards the one infinite Creator, and is only a limited and imperfect, boundless reality. Furthermore, we shall now address the other query related with what is the significance of the pineal gland in spiritual awakening. We must state that the so-called pineal gland, as known by your people in your vibratory sound complex terms, is a small gland or organ located within the brain complex that has been known by your people since the ancient times. Furthermore, it is often referred to as the third eye or the seat of the soul by your people. We must state that the pineal gland is but a photosensitive organ that serves as the human body's regulator and timekeeper, which regulates essential bodily complexes and functions such as respiration and heartbeat. Many mind-body-spirit complexes believe that the pineal gland is also associated with interdimensional awareness, the inner self, and the spiritual reality. Many of these so-called spiritual entities who were awakened throughout the timeline of your historical space-time have contemplated the true functions of the pineal gland, and some entities have referred to it and found it to be the link to the universal realms of thought and the world of ideas. The pineal gland produces many of the so-called chemicals, including serotonin, melatonin, and dimethyltryptamine as known by your people. These chemicals, such as serotonin, is primarily active during the daytime and is associated with joy and fulfillment, while melatonin is produced in response to darkness and promotes sleep. We must state that the chemical known as dimethyltryptamine is found to induce dreams and other near-death experiences and the visions which are found upon your planetary experience. Furthermore, we must state that the significance of the pineal gland in spiritual growth is related to its association with the opening of the third eye chakra, wherein the so-called awareness of the unseen reality becomes clear. We must state that this also relates with the aspect of Kundalini awakening as one ascends higher in consciousness. The pineal gland plays an important role in providing a means of inner sight and a symbolism which can allow entities to enter into various dimensions and realities. Furthermore, many of the so-called pineal glands found upon your planet also have crystals within them, which is responsible for providing internal vision and clarity, which may be considered as dreams and astral projections into other space-time experiences. Furthermore, we must say that these crystals give the inner vision of imagination in your brain complex. Further, we must state that the aspects of the mind, body, and spirit complex totality. We must state that the main purpose of the pineal gland is to provide internal vision and spiritual experiences of other dimensions, which can be tuned into by placing attention upon the inner eye or the third eye found inside your mind complex. We shall now address the final query related with that of a method to assist in ascension. We must state that firstly, in order to remember that in order to ascend in this timeline, one requirement, and that requirement is that of entering the divine silence of lack of identity with the self, the body, and the mind complex. There is but one method which can be found to be of aid in the planetary experience, and this method revolves around firstly accessing the concept related with that of a so-called switch which can be imagined in the mind complex, which can make the mind complex invisible and make it disappear, and by pressing the so-called switch, the concept of making the mind complex or the head of the entity disappear. By doing so, and imagining as if the head of the entity disappears by pressing an invisible switch, the entity's mind complex will also disappear, and upon functioning based upon the understanding of this system of belief, the so-called thought forms and attachments will be done away with. Furthermore, the other deeper level of process can be performed by imagining a switch in the bodily complex. By pressing this switch, the bodily complex completely disappears from the reality, and by imagining pressing it, the bodily complex vanishes. Thereby, there cannot be any identity, and the only aspect which remains after the vanishing of the bodily and the mind complex is the consciousness, which is the one infinite creator's presence found inside the self. And this method will help those who desire to associate with the inner essence of the one creator at this timeline to find unity. Hence, we as the Galactic Federation now leave you, beloveds, in lights and love. Bye.
So my friends, in this recent session, I hope you have learned some interesting aspects, such as, firstly, one of the things that I learned is that in our Milky Way galaxy, the Galactic Federation recently was able to stop the Lucifer social memory complex from entering our galactic system. And this was done using the power of love and light. And I think, this is a great news that Lucifer social memory complex, they said, was sucked inside a black hole, which was created by the power of love and light. So I think, it's absolutely amazing that this is a victory for the light. And the other thing is about the truth about Yahweh. As far as I understood from listening to the session, simply, Yahweh is another term for the one infinite creator. However, the mistake lies in the language. We cannot refer to the one infinite creator, that which cannot be named, with names such as Yahweh. They also said Messiah, they also said Allah, they also said Brahman, and all the stuff. We cannot name the one infinite creator because it is unnamed, it is everywhere, and it is, in all of us, right? So that's one of the things that I learned. And the other query relates with what is the significance of pineal gland in spirituality. So what I learned from this session is, what they said is that pineal gland basically is like this third eye. So it has some crystals inside the pineal gland, and I think this is the reason why when we are sleeping or when we are visualizing, we use our pineal gland to see images in our mind. So I think pineal gland has these crystals which act as third eye to sense the unseen reality, and that's what they're saying. Pineal gland is able to access the other dimensions. It is able to sense what is happening in other realities. And the other thing what I have learned in the session is that the pineal gland has 3 types of chemicals which it produces. The first one is known as serotonin, melatonin, and dimethyltryptamine, or DMT. And these, they have different purposes, for such as serotonin is responsible for the daytime activity, and melatonin is responsible for making us fall asleep when there is darkness, and DMT is for dreams and near-death experiences and visions. So I think it's a very important gland in our body. And the other thing is, I believe the main function is to sense other dimensions. So there is but one last query which I asked, which is a simple method to stabilize into the essence of the one creator. So what they said is, from the session, it's very simple. You can try this experiment. It's like a thought experiment, I think, where you have to imagine yourself having a switch. So let's imagine I have a switch in my head or whatever. If I just press it, my head vanishes, okay, my head disappears. So this is the first one. If you just imagine your head disappearing, you will have no thought, basically, because if your head disappears, you will have no thought. And then the second experiment they said is, imagine a switch in our body, and when you switch it on, your body disappears, and after the body disappearing, only one thing remains, and that is pure consciousness. I am sensing that a pure consciousness remains around this area, the center of my body, when I switch off my entire body. So this, I believe, is very valuable if you want to connect with that sense of the One Infinite Creator's presence, and I hope it helps you. And with that being said, thank you to all of you for sending me requests for your past life sessions, your soul name, your soul identity, and any other questions you may have. I will help you out whenever I get free time. You can send it on my email over here. And also I want to say thank you to all of you for downloading the PDF version of my transcript of the sessions, and also thank you to all of you for liking this video, as it helps to spread to other people. And also thank you to all of you for getting the book version of my sessions if you want to read it in a book format. So with that being said, I'll see you in the next session, my friends. Until then, enjoy this session over here.